crunchy. That's really crunchy. This is my 2021 Honda Civic Type R. I bought completely totaled, rebuilt, made it fast. We just made 745 wheel horsepower, all wheel horsepower because it is all-wheel drive converted on the Mustang dyno on about 31 pounds of boost, 3 little rippers on the street later, and she decided to grenade something in the drivetrain. Axle? No, that's drive shaft. This axle's there, nice. The CV's not spinning at all. It broke something in the trans, didn't it?
It seems like T-case wise.
Son, we're gonna need a tow.
All right, what do you think broke?
Yesterday I thought it was the trans, now I think it's the T-case. Are you still trans?
I mean, it's acting like a T-case and there's fluid on the ground that's coming from that area, so.
But it doesn't make sense.
I'm saying trans.
It sounds like T-case, but logically it's trans.
All right, pal. Well, your half shaft's good.
Where's the oil coming from? Not the trans.
Did it break the back of the block?
It sounds, I think it's the high fluids.
Where's the oil come from?
I don't know. I don't know, it's pretty clinky in the trans.
That's pretty clinky there. So what hit the radiator though? That's the hole where all those damaged fins are.
It won't be that, whatever. Yeah. Those minor details compared to my drivetrain.
It doesn't make sense. Where's the fluid coming from? It's like right here underneath the back. The bottom of the T-case wet? It looks kind of wet on the bottom of the T-case right here. Is it cracked?
The T-case is about 10 minutes to pull, so that's easy.
I don't think there's even that much that comes out of there. It don't look very clean.
Oh, she's shimmery. It's all could be shimmery.
Your trans got rod knock. That's real bad.
It is.
I mean, you gotta think that's a pretty small hole for chunks to come out. Maybe it's not something very severe.
It'd be nice, but based on the sound.
I mean, it's something fucked up, but you don't need a new trans case or T-case housing. I thought they rated that T-case for a lot higher than what you're at, pal. That sounds mint.
It sounds like something that you would build.
Thanks, pal.
Sounds awfully similar to the other Honda. Okay, well.
Your shit breaks more than mine. Look at this thing. Can't even live off a dyno because the tuner. I pressed the Bluetooth T-case button as well. Now no gears work. Why doesn't it even drive the front gear? The front tires?
Because I built it. I probably didn't have the front connected.
It's never been connected, it's just been rear wheel drive.
The more you spin, the less shit you break. But clearly not on the, are these even Nankings? No, they're Lexani.
Lexani? What do you got, 20s on here?
18s. 18s.
Come on, you remember the olden days, Lexani wheels?
No.
You used to make wheels.
Yeah, I'm not 40 like you.
Oh, fuck you, pal.
Judging by that hair you got, you're like 50.
What hair? There ain't no hair. What about your hair, pal?
You bitch. You nervous? Because I am. Like I said, it ain't your car, so you don't give a fuck.
No problem. Add the sander.
You wanted me to flat foot.
I did.
I couldn't do it.
Now we just have to figure out what's going on with the clutch.
It's not, the clutch is tits. I just need to upgrade it. No chunks.
That's because they're stuck inside the trans.
They don't come out.
I get to see it before you. Oh yeah. It broke the same way the M1 did.
What?
Same exact way. Same identical way.
Really?
Yeah, it's off the housing or whatever, that bearing piece there. That's
So
what it did.
the high points.
But the good news, this doesn't look nearly as bad.
I think the trans is fine.
I think it is, because it doesn't look nearly as bad. It looks like it literally just cracked the T-case housing. It doesn't look bad. That's not that bad. It just broke that.
That's all it broke.
Now pull it out though. It doesn't look like it created a bunch of metal.
It looks like it's
Even
just
the teeth look fine. That doesn't look that bad, guys.
I know, that looks nice. I think I need a billet T-case after all.
You do. And learn how to shift.
High points.
Damn. So did that break and then it did that? I bet you that broke and then it did that.
I don't know, but I have hypoids right there.
There you
PPG
go.
hypoids too.
Put that shit in.
It needs to be shimmed, and I don't
Looks
know
like you're gonna be a shimmer.
And it didn't go in the trans.
No, it didn't. It was all in here. That's a whole lot of logic, is it broke the hypoid and then it tried to break the case because it got stuck.
Well, what we do now is they're both broken.
Yeah, you broke 2 T-cases on both your all-wheel drive Hondas.
In the same exact way.
Sounds like you got a common problem.
One because I cheaped out, one because you cheaped out, bitch. That's nice.
That's better case scenario. That's not easy. Best, but...
Bro, I could fix this today.
An axle would have been best case.
Do you think I could convince Brian to shim this? But still, Josh, how come, I mean, the EM1 drove and it powered the front wheels and this one wouldn't?
Go try to turn the front wheels now. In theory, it should. What's up, Aww. Well, he was gonna call and ask you real nicely about shimming his T-case because it destroyed the hypoids, but when it destroyed the hypoids, it must have walked up and broke the gear in the trans too.
Let me peek up in here.
Devin, how are you breaking this stuff?
It only
How
made.
do you keep doing this?
I didn't break anything. Blame the tuner.
It broke the hypoids, which then broke that case.
So it broke the hypoids and, as you guessed it, Brian.
The diff.
Guess.
The final drive.
Yes. It's
Really?
There's no teeth on it. Fucking no teeth on it. So I mean,
Holy shit.
The regular
Oh yeah.
right?
This is pretty bad, Brian. Well, your light's right. You get your camera in these tight spots, blood. Oh, you bitch. Look at.
it's fucking oil drop. You are such a bitch there.
There you go. I can't get up there. How do you get this camera into these places? I can see
Whatever. It's broken.
it. That shit's fucked.
So, damn.
Did it break the transfer gear?
No, the transfer gear looks fine.
So it sheared the teeth off the final, and it broke the.
It broke a gear, or is that just the final making that noise?
Well, there's two gears. It'll be this gear and then this shaft right here.
Yeah.
It probably sheared both gears. Yeah, the transfer gear is fine.
Send me pictures of it. I want to see.
How the fuck does it break a hypoid and a transfer gear or the final drive at the same time? Final drive break and then that fucked a hypoid? I don't know.
No, because if it would have broke the final drive first, nothing would have continued to go through the trans.
This is why I call you, because you're smart.
It would have broke the transfer case and then backfed and then locked up everything because the motor was still turning.
Well, it still runs good, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's good. The motor's good. Damn, that sucks, dude.
So I might as well do fucking everything.
Well, looks like you're putting a sequential in it.
I thought I did everything, but now I'll really do everything.
Well, now you need a $1,000 bill of case and a $1,500 set of hypoids.
She has both.
$2,000 set of hypoids and fucking $1,500 in the final drive.
Huh?
Holy butthole, my butthole hurts now. Fuck this car. Do you want to buy a?
How much have you put into your all-wheel drive Honda in the last week?
Dude, I don't even know. And I got a leaky radiator. Holy shit.
Too much.
Fuck this car, Brian. All right, well.
Send me pictures of it.
I
want to
will.
see it. Sorry, man.
It's okay.
That's a bummer.
Thought having the cheap tires would save my drivetrain, but apparently not. Still spun in
Everything's
third
tight,
gear.
right? All the bolts are tight. Nothing's loose and weird.
I'm Devin Niemela, not Josh Bader. I tighten my shit and lock
Thanks,
tight.
you dick.
Besides my
You gotta tell
flywheel
them the
bolts.
memo. Lock tight keeps your bolts tight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fucked.
You know, everybody vote down below. I think you just need to put a sequential in it.
I have one, but I don't want to. You just want that shell back, bitch.
I do. Pull that sequential out.
Ah, it's a
Put the
daily.
stitch together. Give me this trans.
It's a daily. Here is my hypothesis on the order of breakage. The hypoids, which are in the transfer case, those broke first, which in turn cracked the transfer case housing or the transfer case cover. The T-case binding up is most likely what broke the final drive gear inside the trans. When I first pulled the T-case, I was super excited that it was the hypoids. I'm like, cool, we don't need to pull the trans. As you guys saw, I went to turn the front wheels. They wouldn't really turn, peeked up in there. And sure enough, the final drive in the trans is broken. So unfortunately, the whole thing does have to come back apart. I debated not doing it for like a month or two, but if I push it off at all, then this car's not getting driven at all until next year because winter's right around the corner. I do want to enjoy this thing a little bit before snow flies. So we need to order a billet T-case housing. We need to order PPG hypoids. We need to order a final drive, which the current final drive, if I'm not mistaken, is a 4.7. We can go down to a 4.4, which is gonna stretch out all the gears just a little bit longer, which is gonna be nice. And that should be all the parts that we need. Besides the clutch. This clutch in here is not rated for nearly the power that we are making. And the reason for that is because when I initially built this car and ordered this clutch, I had a goal that was much lower than what this car is actually making. So we do need a clutch as well. I started pulling apart the entire car, and then I had the bright idea to save us a bit of time. I think I'm just gonna pull the transmission this time around. It's maybe another 15-20 minutes to pull just the trans, whereas pulling the motor and trans together, being that we'd have to do all the wiring again, it's probably like an hour. I hope and pray that the 1 through 4 gears are fine, and I hope our LSD is fine as well. Anything else, it's all stock cheap stuff, I don't care. Easily replaceable. Dropped down the power plate a few inches to clear the frame rails, removed all of the bell housing and bolts, and the transmission was ready to come out. That was very, very easy to remove just the trans on this car. I thought Evos were easy and like Subarus were easy. This was very easy. Of course, we already know the condition of the T-case, but let's figure out what exactly is going on inside the transmission. I was very, very anxious. We already dumped a ton of money into this transmission build, and I was hoping all of the expensive parts were not going to be damaged. Man, oh man, there's a lot of shavings in here, but from what I can see, everything that we installed, all the aftermarket components, all the PPG stuff, all the straight cut stuff, that all looks fine. Let's disassemble it completely and make sure. So this right here and this right here is the only damage inside the transmission from what I can see so far. Let's pop out the diff. As long as the LSD and the transfer gear are fine, which still looks nice and sharp and beautiful. So yeah, final drive got destroyed when the hypoids in the transfer case locked up. That's a whole lot of material we're gonna have to clean out, but thankfully, from the looks of it, all of our very, very beloved and expensive parts inside this trans are still good. Every time you pull apart a project car, there's always something to fix, whether it be small or big. This time around, it's a relatively small and simple fix, but this was bugging me and it was leaking. On this build, we had to go to the K20Z3 shift selector, which reverses the selection of the gears. Unfortunately, it does not line up with the holes on the transmission, as you can see there. The two front ones do, the two rear ones do not, so we had to drill new holes in the transmission to bolt the selector down. Unfortunately, it was leaking, so I want to go ahead and do it right. Apply some weld to the transmission, drill and tap or drill and helicoil the holes, just so they're not all the way through the trans like they currently are, which causes gear oil to leak out and cause a big mess. Spent a few minutes welding up the inside of the casing. Unfortunately, all of the excessive heat did destroy the coating, so I decided it's best to strip it back down to bare metal and slap on a nice fresh powder coat job. Before I repowder coat it, there's one more thing I'm going to modify on this casing. So factory, for the shifter cable bracket, there is a bolt there, bolt there, bolt there. Unfortunately, this rear bolt right here is covered up because we had to relocate the shifter cable mount. So now it only has 2 mounts on it. I'm worried that this thing may flex. It's probably not, but just in case, before I go ahead and repowder coat this thing for the very, very last time, I'm going to add a standoff on the transmission back here, get that guy welded on, just so we have a third mount like it should. My welds are so damn bad, I don't even want to show you guys the end result, but we now have 3 mounting locations for the shifter cable mount once again, and we were off to get this thing powder coated. The color I went with today is called Satin Silver from Prismatic Powders. It's a very nice OEM looking color. Got this thing fully coated, time to toss it in the oven and let it bake out. Transmission casing is out of the oven and it looks absolutely fantastic. I really, really love this color of powder if you're going for an OEM-ish color. UPS came just in time with a box from BF Gears. I was very, very excited because this was very clearly the last weak link in our transmission build. This is our upgraded final drive from BF. We had the option of going straight cut or helical. Straight cut is cool, it's definitely stronger, but this transmission is already getting pretty loud with the straight cut 1 through 4 and the straight cut transfer gears. If we did a straight cut final, it would probably be unbearable for a daily driver. So I went with the helical 4.4 final drive. This shaft right here is going to replace that shaft, and this gear replaces that gear. Thankfully, I'm fortunate enough to have a press here at the shop. Press the shaft out of the old gear set, press the gears onto the new shaft, and we now have a complete gear set ready to go back in the trans. Now it's time to swap out the final drive gear on the LSD. With that guy complete, this transmission is ready for its final assembly. Let's take a second to appreciate how beautiful this satin silver powder coat turned out. Before the transmission goes back in the car for hopefully this time around the very, very last time, there's one thing that we need to change, and that is the clutch. We are currently running an ACT 6-puck clutch in the car, which is a very, very good clutch, but we made quite a bit more power and more torque than I was initially expecting. The current clutch setup is rated for around 400 foot-pounds. The car on the dyno made 585 foot-pounds, so we're quite a bit over the torque rating of the clutch. And while it's not slipping right now, the last thing I want to do is put this car back together and go for a quick little ripper, and the clutch starts slipping. So let's fix that. This, my friends, is a Cint Iron twin disc race clutch from ACT. You guys know I couldn't go away from ACT I love their products. With the old clutch torque rating around 400 foot-pounds, this one is 776 foot-pounds of torque. 304% over factory. I'm a little bit worried this thing isn't gonna drive as good as I want. Like I said, it is a straight up drag race clutch. So yeah, let's go ahead and slap this bad boy on the engine, get the trans back in the car, and then we can talk about what we are doing with the T-case. I was recommended to install this hydraulic throwout bearing. I've never ran one before. I've heard great things about them. So I lubed up the shaft a bit, tossed her on, and the nice thing about this is it eliminates the need of a clutch fork. I had the bright idea of trying to get this transmission back in the car myself. Struggled for a bit, and I finally got her connected back to the engine. Oh, wow, that was hard. Let's not do that again. With the transmission in the car, we are ready for the subframe, lower control arm, and rack assembly. Now I've already started messing around with some of these parts, but we are doing the works on this T-case. We have the billet cover from Drag Cartel. Cool. These would be considered the hypoids. These are from PPG. So it goes, wah, brap, 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 not breaking. And then in the T-case, we already had the PPG transfer shaft and the PPG transfer gear. So literally nothing else we can do to this T-case. If this breaks, unfortunately, I mean, the car is just too heavy for the power it's making is kind of the last case scenario because there's no other upgrades that we can possibly do. This is it, this is everything. I'm not gonna be building this. Everything does have to be shimmed properly. You have backlash, you have bearing preload, and then you have the mating surface where the hypoids actually connect. So that would be this surface right here. Everything does need to be shimmed. They don't really sell a shim kit for all this good stuff. And it's also very important that you get it 100% perfect. So I'm gonna be shipping this out and having it built for me. In the meantime, we're putting a stock T-case back in it with just a PPG transfer gear, which I have a spare one out of the EM1, so we're gonna run that in the car for now. Obviously, we can't do anything crazy until we get the built T-case in. Here's our OEM spare T-case with the straight cut transfer gear installed to match the straight cut that's in the trans. With the T-case back in the car, it was time for some fluids and the first start. First start number 8 coming right up. Son of a bitch. Guess what? The battery's dead. Guess what? My trunk's closed. Where's the jump pack? Why is my battery at 5 volts? This bitch got a parasitic draw. It needs a test. Holler if you see shit. Ready? Good? Got a rattle from hell. What the fuck is that? Fuck yeah. The radiator has a hole in it from the intercooler pipe rubbing on it, so I can't drive it, but I can feel the clutch and get a woody from my clutch. Sheesh. I think my transmission works. If my trans works, it's the only trans in the world that does work. Bro, there's no way. It's so soft. It can't be right. Nah, it needs to be bled more. It goes in gear. I can tell it's gonna be softer than a baby's bum though.
That looks extremely light.
It needs to be bled more for sure. And I put a hydraulic throwout bearing on it too. Fuck yeah, dude. That was a nice cold start for the boys. Cold. Why did it just... I hope that was a radiator cap. Either I just lost a rod or my radiator cap fell. I'm thinking the latter.
I said it right. It was like going like this, so I said it here, and I thought it'd stay, and apparently not. Did it fall down and on top of your intercooler?
Whatever the front's got to come off to swap the radiator. What fell? Oh, a bolt. What's that bolt? What is this bolt? Oh, son of a bitch. What the fuck? How did I forget that?
What is it?
It's one of the bell housing bolts. Which one is it though? I set it in there and I didn't tighten the bit. Bro, I'm gonna bleed that clutch more. I want to feel that thing. I mean, it's like, there's pressure, but there's no way. All right, take 2. Yeah, it's releasing right at the bottom. Huh? There's no way. It's releasing right at the bottom. Ain't no way. It feels fucking good. It's gonna be so soft, bro. What?
It's not bleeding with that. Why do you keep turning it off?
I shut it off.
Oh,
I ain't got no coolant, homie. Clutch is just sticked. Pull it back apart, put a new clutch in it. Clutch is now fully bled out, and I did go ahead and adjust the clutch pedal as well. Needed a slight adjustment. When I say this thing is soft, I mean, watch this. She is soft. That's like factory. I love the ACT twins. They're always really nice feeling. And of course, I'm very excited to hit the streets in this car and see how she feels. I hope this is the last time, of course, that this car has to come apart. A lot of trial and error with a build that is this heavy and making this much power, and of course it's just one of a kind. Comes with the territory. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out, my good friends, and I'll see you boys when we get a radiator in and go for a rip.